Welcome. Hello, hello. I am Kim Wade from Inner Gaze Yoga. I am so thrilled that you're opening up this webinar. We have a lot of fun things here in store for you. I'm hoping you have a pen and paper. I'm hoping you have a little something to sip on. We have been talking about self-love today, so I'm wearing my decked out self-love sweatshirt, and that's what this is all about, right? Building habits, building healthy habits in your life is that radical self-care. Okay, let's get started. Okay, the first thing we're chatting about here is the science of habits. Okay, the science of habits, we're empowering women one habit at a time. Of course, we're empowering men too, but chances are, if you're watching this, you're a woman. And welcome. Now, at the end of this webinar, I'm going to ask you to make a decision, and it's going to be a quick 60-second decision because a majority of us have a really bad habit of not making decisions, right? And there's no good decision, there's no bad decision, it's just a decision. So, whatever you decide in your life, you're going to be living the consequences or the results of that decision. But when we think about like, this is the wrong one, this is the right one, or this is a good one, this is a bad one, it throws us off into indecisiveness. So my challenge for you at the end of this video, at the end of this webinar, is to make a decision, right? Make a decision. Whatever it is for you, whatever it is for you is going to bring the results that you want into your life. So it's not a good or bad, right or wrong. I'm going to break this webinar up into 3 groups. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you a little bit about me if you're new to my work. The second thing I'm going to talk to you about is the science of habits. What is research showing us about habits? And then I'm going to intermingle it with my Healthy Habit Women's Group work because I want to show you a new way to look at habit building. Okay. And then, as I said, at the end of this webinar, we are going to make a decision, whatever it is. It's going to be yours. First of all, here I am. I'm Kim Wade. I'm the owner of Inner Gaze Yoga. I work one-on-one with clients, and we talk about trauma and recovery mindset. We do it through weekly Zoom calls. We talk about building tools for self-care and, really truly healing the pain of the past. I also offer group coaching. I'm the founder of the Inner Circle, which is a healthy habit women's group hosted by the Ahimsa Yoga Studios in person or online. There are 5 Ahimsa Yoga Studios here in Illinois, and maybe sometime coming to a city near you. But the Inner Circle is an Ayurvedic group where we meet once a week and we are studying yoga, which is truly the path of wellness. So we're kind of studying yoga on and off the mat. You could join the Inner Circle. There's 2 different levels. You could do one where you're just doing the Healthy Habit Women's Group meeting once a week, but oftentimes people want to upgrade, which is not, it's like just 20 bucks more usually to join the Ahimsa Yoga Studio where you're getting all kinds of classes. The Inner Circle, these are our meetings. We do winter quarter and the bedtime routine. I'll let you read over those things. Those are our 12 healthy habits, but you're building into that movement, whether it's with yoga or swimming or running or walking, you're building that into your life. Okay. And then here are some of the classes that I teach: the Gentle Evening Hatha, Yoga for Core, a Hatha Vinyasa class, Sculpt and Tone, working on building those bones. Really, really important for women as we age. So there's classes that I teach, but you could go to any of the classes if you decide that you do want to join the Inner Circle with the Ahimsa Yoga Studio classes involved. Okay. All right, these are my friends. This is Rick and Kim. And these are some testimonials from a survey I did with the Inner Circle members a bit ago. And this is some of the things that they described. I'll let you read it. Um, this was a very fun day, right? And then a little bit more, I'm a mom. I have college-age twins. I have a precious Sugar Bear Wade. I've been working as a group leader, yoga teacher, and mindset coach for over a decade. The Inner Circle started about 2009. It's crazy to think about how long ago it was. And my entire career has been on teaching personal development tools for self-care so that we can align to our truest nature, right? So the science of habits, who am I thinking about when I make this webinar? Who am I thinking about? Who's this webinar for? Well, I started to think 100 women right now in this very moment have a mismanagement of their time in some form or another, right? They either feel that they don't have the time or they're not using it in the way that they want to. There are over 100 women right now in this very moment that have a lack of passion or a lack of drive in their lives. They spend a great deal of time in negative or worried thinking. They have a hard time imagining life in just any other way. Or there are 100 women right now in this very minute that do not have a community or much self reflection in their lives at all. There's little consistency, there's little routine, and they probably struggle with setting boundaries. So one of the men I study, one of the experts I study on habits is James Clear, who wrote Atomic Habits. And here's what he says: your life today is essentially the sum of your habits. Think about this. Okay. How in shape or out of shape you are, a result of your habits. How happy or unhappy you are, a result of your habits. How successful or unsuccessful you are, a result of your habits. What you repeatedly do, i.e., what you spend time thinking about and doing each day, ultimately forms the person you are the things you believe, and the personality that you portray. Right? That's big stuff to think about. Or the wise sages have taught us that every thought ends up becoming a word. Every word becomes our actions, and every action that we take again and again becomes our character. So be careful what you think. I am who I think I am. Very powerful. So we know this, our lives are built on our habits, right? Your yesterday is what you're living today. Your tomorrow starts with what you're doing in this moment here and now. So we're thinking about what are the habits that keep us stuck? What are the habits that are moving us forward? Now, I want to show you something. I'm not going to go into it too deeply here on some of the ways I coach, but we're thinking about mindset work. So let's talk about just the facts. So let's say those women I was talking about at the beginning of the webinar about that doesn't have lack of time, lack of passion or drive, lack of community. So let's sort of take out a fact of their life. The woman with lack of time, she literally has a 14-hour workday tomorrow. Let's say that she literally has a 14-hour workday tomorrow. She gets to think about it however she wants. So, for example, one of her thoughts could be, I'm going to be an absolute wreck at work tomorrow, right? I'm going to be an absolute wreck at work tomorrow. Or she could think, I need a new job because this job is going to kill me, right? I need a new job because this job is going to kill me. Whichever thought she thinks is going to create the feeling, right? I'm sad, I'm despair, I'm angry, I'm bitter, I'm resentful, whatever it is, those feelings are going to sort of drive the way I'm showing up, driving my actions. My actions are going to drive the results that I'm getting. And the results I'm getting is driven by my thinking, not necessarily my actions, because my actions are driven by my thoughts. Okay. So let's look and see how this would play out. So a potential habit loop. So her thinking, I'm going to be an absolute wreck at work tomorrow. A habit loop she might have going on is she continues to not plan out her workouts, continues to not plan out her meals or her yoga classes. It will continue to let her hormones go up and crash. She will continue to feel burned out by the end of the day. This is going to continue happening, continue happening, continue happening. Or thought two, I need a new job because this job is going to kill me. She could continue to not think anything else is possible. This is the only thing I have. I'm trapped by this workday. I'm trapped by this life. So she just continues to fear the future, continues to fear the future instead of doing anything about it. That's that habit loop, right? I'm trapped here now. I don't think about the future. I can't think that anything's going to change. And that's how it keeps that loop going. So what is a habit loop? Well, again, James Clear from a couple of books, but the what I'm talking about here is Atomic Habits. He says the four-step pattern is the backbone. This cue, craving, response, reward, right? Cue, something cues you get a craving, you respond, and then you get the fix, you get the reward. He says that this four-step pattern is the backbone of every habit. Your brain runs through these steps in this same order each time automatically. Now, in the inner circle group, which is the healthy habit group, we're not thinking of habits as this is a good habit or this is a bad habit, because that throws us into another habit of judging. But we do think about what are the results I'm going to get from staying up late consistently? What are the results I'm going to get from getting up in the morning and taking 1 minute of meditation? What are the results? Is this what I want? So That's what we're talking about here is what do I want? And most of all the work I do around habits is from these folks, Alan Carr, Kelly McGonigal, and James Clear. I would recommend any of their books. Okay. This is what it looks like. There's a cue, there's a craving, there's a response, and then there's a reward. A cue, a craving, a response, and a reward. That pattern again and again in every area of your life. Here's how it shows up mentally, though. You have a thought, right? It becomes what we talk about. We talk about it enough, we start acting it out. We act it out enough times, it's going to become who we are, how we are, right? I go from being in a bad mood to an angry person, right? It becomes who I am. So we're watching that mental loop. But wait, there's more. And this is the real reason that I wanted to do this webinar for you. We know that eventually all of these habitual responses become more and more automatic, and they begin to run repeatedly throughout our day in our unconscious mind, right? I didn't even know I drove to work. When did I don't even remember. Every day I just do that same thing and we're just living. So in other words, we are not only mostly unconscious during our life, right? But we actually are sleepwalking 95% of our life. Not only are we unconscious, okay? Not only are we unconscious, but we are at the level of sleepwalking. Why do I say that? Let's go look at the research. They did this study in Stanford. They've done it many times since then, but you could probably look it up. So they put the rat food up here where this red circle is, okay? And they let Mr. Rat come in this door. They have a bunch of little, wires hooked up to Mr. Rat's brain, and he can smell the food, right? He can smell it. That's the cue. He starts getting a belly rumble, right? He starts craving that food, and he's going all the way up and down, looking for it, turning around. His brain is just lighting up, firing up, right? He goes up here, he turns to the right, the scent is off, and he's hunting for it. Finally, he finds it, and then that reward, right? Well, what do you think happens the second time, third time, fourth time, 500th time? This brain not lighting up, not lighting up. And in fact, it's so not lighting up that it is comparable to the brain lighting up when you are asleep. So it is dull as if you were asleep, which is why they say sleepwalking through life. You're not lighting up. How do they know that? Because they did the study again and they made it an X shape this time. Put the wires up to the Mr. Rat's brain, put him over here where that X is, and he's all lit up again. He smells the cue. He gets the craving. He starts to respond, and his brain's lighting up, lighting up, lighting up. And finally, he gets it after a while, and boom. When he does it again and again and again and again, it doesn't go boom anymore, right? It's just sort of automatic. Hit the band, hit the band, hit the band, and it becomes a sleepwalking through life. So I want to stop here for a moment and I want to talk about my inner circle habit group because it's great, but also because I want to show you how we are turning habits up and over almost to a guarantee where you can start to really move through habits in a way that you want them. Okay, here's how we do it. I'm talking about this pattern, right? The thought, the word, the action, the character. The inner circle work is over here before we even get to the thought. In other words, the inner circle is self-reflective group. It's a group of awareness where you're becoming aware you even have habit loops. So you're not trapped in the loop, right? Trying to get out. You're taking out of the loop and you're starting to notice, oh, here's a pattern at home. Here's my pattern at work. Here's my pattern around food, right? Here's what I'm doing. You're sitting in the actual awareness itself. Let me tell you what I mean. Okay. First, I want to tell you what a hygge is, because that's what I call the inner circle, a hygge. It derives from the word hugga, a 16th century Norwegian term meaning to comfort or to console, which is related to the English word hug. Noun, it's a quality of coziness and comfortable conviviality that engenders a feeling of contentment or well-being. Now, that's what the hygge is, but this is what we feel like. Right? This is what the hygge, the inner circle, feels like. They're not playing together. They're not necessarily talking. They're not necessarily close, but they feel very cozy and warm sitting by each other as they do their own process. And that's really what this is like. Okay, so here's some things. I did a survey, as I said, with the inner circle and some things that they said about the hygge. I'm throwing this out to you so you kind of get the idea of how warm and cozy it is as we are doing this work. Compassion, everyone's been vulnerable. We're sharing intimate struggles, a deep connection. I appreciate everybody. Hearing people, feels close to them. Here's more. I'll show you these later. But really, what I want you to know is that the inner circle group focuses on mainly just one habit, and that is the habit of self reflection. They call it this svadhyaya, one's own reading, a lesson. This is a daily practice of self reflection. Now, here's what we would say by practicing yoga, right? The poses and the dharma and all the things that yoga teaches us, meditation, focusing our mind, watching ourselves breathe, watching the birds in the trees, playing with the dog, studying inspirational texts. They could be texts from, yoga studies, sutras or philosophies. It could be your religious philosophies, whatever is inspiring to you, and learning how to process our thoughts, process our behaviors on a daily basis, right? On a daily basis, we're taking inventory of how we're showing up. We are able then to truly move in this way, in this world, feeling truly aligned with who we really, really are. In other words, this path of knowing yourself is what we get to. And as I said, spoiler alert, you are awareness itself. Just watching yourself, that part of your mind that watches, that's the truth of who you are from the yoga stance. Okay. So who is the group? Who am I talking about? Who are these people that come to the group? Well, they're women. They're women of all ages who want to learn how to manage their stress, live mindfully, and bring more joy into their lives while in an intimate connection to a loving community of other women doing the same, right? We want to learn how to manage our stress. We want to learn how to live mindfully. We want to bring in more joy within a loving community of other women doing the same. And that's what we're doing here by putting this time right before the thinking. So you're watching your thoughts. I like to say we think about what we think about in mindset coaching. Okay. Okay. So this is a way I like to describe it. When you think of awareness, there's different levels of awareness, right? There's different levels. So let's say that this is you. Okay. But this is really how it feels when you're you, right? You don't know how much is more. You don't know what's going on up there or where you are on the scale until you are in self reflection and you start to see other people and where they are. So here's somebody who's farther down the road than you are. Maybe they got out of an unhappy marriage. Maybe they learned how to not, overindulge in their drinks or eats, or they've done it, and you can just watch how they've done it. And then you too, right? You remember the before times. You remember what it was like down there, and you turn to help another. And that's really what it is we're moving through awareness. Sometimes we're all, sort of floating around. If you were talking about the inner circle group, sometimes people love decluttering month, and some people are decluttering every day, and some people are decluttering sometimes, and everybody's all over the place. Sometimes everybody's at the bottom, right? Nobody's going to bed early on the bedtime routine. Nobody's, really watching what they eat when we think about healthy eating. Sometimes that's how it feels. Sometimes it feels like everybody's doing their thing. And sometimes it feels like everybody's doing well but you, right? It doesn't matter where you are because this is what it feels like. It feels cozy, comfortable, accepting, and loving right where you are, right where you are. Again, we're talking about habits. We're talking about being mindful of what you think. We are aware of how we're showing up before we react. We're learning to take the pause. So, what is the inner circle's number one habit? And what is the number one habit I'm suggesting for you? Self reflection. Self reflection, taking inventory, truly looking at seeing what am I doing in the day? What am I not doing in the day? How am I feeling in the day? How am I not feeling? How am I showing up? I like to think of the healthy habit group as like a merry-go-round. You can get on and ride as long as you want, right? Each month we have a different habit. You can quit at any time, right? You can take some turns that aren't as fun. Maybe you really don't want to deal with creativity because you think you're not a creative person. Maybe you love building a morning routine, right? Maybe you love looking at relationships and try to figure out how you're maybe showing up in relationships that you could dial up or down. You're learning, but not all of them are happy or fun, right? Some of them, like meditation, challenges a lot of folks, or sometimes, looking at decluttering the attic or the basement gets to be sort of a chore, but some people love it. So you're finding the habits that are challenging for you and some are easy. Now let's go back and look at the habits that we're actually talking about most of the time when we think about this work. Stretching your bones and muscles after work. Can't stretch your bones, but stretching your muscles after work. Going for a walk every day, meditating when you're stressed, biting your nails, drinking alcohol most days of the week, watching TV every day, right? These are some common habits. Well, are you saying, oh, that's a good habit, that's a bad habit? And my question is, are you making a habit of being judgmental? Do you have a sense that you are better, worse, right or wrong, good or bad? That also is a habit. So being aware that you're either superior, inferior, right or wrong, good or bad, noticing that habit is another habit that we often have. Okay. So let's see where you are with this. Let's say that you're going to change a habit. I want you to think of something that's going on in your life right now, and I want you to pick one thing you want to start doing. Pick whatever it is you want to start doing. Let's say you want to start working out. Okay. Or pick one thing you want to stop. You want to stop eating dinner after 7. You want to stop eating dinner after 7. So you'll take the time and you're going to look at what is the cue that sort of ding dings in my mind. What is the craving that I have? Why do I want this to come? How do I respond? What do I do in order for this to happen? And then what is the reward I get? So we could say working out, right? Having your gym shoes by the door. You have a craving to get outside and have some deep breaths and to feel good in your body, feel strong. You go to the gym, like it or not, rain or shine, and you get the reward of feeling like you have some really deep breaths, or maybe your anxiety has dropped. So I want you to take the time to really plan this out. You could do the same thing with a negative or a bad habit, right? What are you doing? That's the cue there. What's the craving? What's the response? What's the reward? Go ahead and do this out and start this habit or end this habit. Write it out. Practice it for 30 days, get it ingrained in your body, and I wish you the best of luck. Right? We know what to do, but we're still not always doing it. And that's really what I want to bring into this webinar for you. So we're talking about the science of habits. We know what the science of habits is. We know that this happens. This 4-step pattern is happening it, and all the happening it is happening for it. And all these experts are suggesting sort of the same thing. We know that. We know that. So what are we going to do? Right? We need to be practicing self-reflection. The habit to practice is self-reflection, or we could say intentionality, or we could say conscious, or we could say mindful, or we could say mind mastery. However you want to say it, owning the mind, owning the reins of the brain of who and how we think is going to be up to you. So once you practice yoga, right? You could freestyle journaling every day. You could be more open to feedback from your friends, your spouse. You could be working with a therapist or a mindset coach. You could get an accountability partner, right? You could join this Inner Circle Healthy Habit group. You could do any of these things that would bring in the self-reflection for you on a daily basis. And here we are. We are now at our 60-second decision. Hey, as I said at the beginning, there is no right or wrong. There's no right or wrong. There's no, if I do this, this is the good thing. If I do this, is the bad thing. There's none of that. There is no right or wrong. But anything you do, your tomorrow starts today. Anything you do is going to have results from it, right? As that quote said, what you do today is what's going to happen for you tomorrow. So when you think about it, which one would you want to do? Pick one. You want to practice yoga daily? Do you want to freestyle journal daily? Do you want to be open to feedback from your friends and your spouse so that you can get some idea of how you're showing up outside of the brain that's creating some of these problems? Do you want to open yourself up to working with a therapist or a self-reflective mindset coach? Do you want to get an accountability partner where you're, showing up for them, you're showing up for yourself? Do you want to join our weekly healthy habit group where you're learning with us weekly, but you're practicing daily? What are these healthy habits? So the inner circle, some of the things that they say is, I'm so grateful to have learned techniques to listen better to myself, take time for myself, be proactive to maintaining an overall happier and more balanced lifestyle. This woman says she's learned to set better boundaries for herself. She's now far less guilty, and she's better able to say no. She's learning how to look forward to things about her journey once a week. Those messages are staying with her. So these things, by building these healthy habits, because you can't stop a pattern. Once you've got a habit built sort of into your brain, it just goes on automatic. So we don't stop these thoughts. They kind of go on forever. What we do is we change our thoughts. We start to build healthy thoughts. So we talk about bedtime routine, morning time routine, digestion, healthy eating, these habits. But the real habit we're focusing on is what? Self-reflection. I want to get to bed at 10. I'm not getting to bed at 10. What am I doing instead? And you're practicing this self-reflection. Okay. So if you were to join the inner circle and you feel like that's the way you want to do it, there's a 3-month commitment. You want to really give it a shot for 3 months. There's Wednesdays at 11 a.m., Mondays at 7. You could come in person if you're here local, or you can always meet us on Zoom. Everybody who joins the inner circle will start off with one free 1-hour coaching call. That's going to sort of set your foundation so you have a place to fly. If you are interested in joining the inner circle, all I want you to do is just reach out to me, innergazeyoga@gmail.com, and I'll send you all the things you need to know to enroll, if that's what you're deciding to do. Okay. But you get to pick one, right? Or two. What would you like to do for self-reflection on a daily basis? So think about it. All right. Are you ready? We're going to make a decision. You could pick none of them and keep going on the way you are. That's not a bad decision. You could decide you're going to take some yoga classes. You're going to do 3 or 4 yoga classes a week, and you're going to do a couple days at home. You could pick somebody in your neighborhood and go join a gym together and check in on each other with healthy habits in your eating, or if you want to quit smoking or drinking, or find your community that way. You can decide that you're going to just journal, that you have a nice strong morning meditation practice. You're going to add journaling on because you want to get some of these thoughts out of your head so you can get self-reflective. Or maybe there's something, there's a transformation that you're kind of itching to get to, and you need somebody to guide you. You need somebody to mentor you. Maybe you'll go get a therapist. Maybe you'll go, get a mindset coach. You could hire me if you want to. What are you going to do in order for you to get some space out of what's causing that pain? Okay, so let's look at this one more round. We're talking about awareness itself. That's the habit I'm suggesting, is that we just have pause in our life. We just have a neutral place, right? Who are you really? You are awareness itself. You're aware. So let's look at the facts here. There is no or a lack of joy in my life. Let's say that that's someone's true story today. Someone watching this, you just don't feel like there's joy in your life. Your first thought is there's just no one I feel connected to. There's just no one I feel connected to. Another thought you could think is, I don't know why I'm gaining all this weight. I don't know why I'm gaining all this weight. Those are the two thoughts that you could think. Both of them is going to cause you to feel a certain way, right? And in the feelings, you're going to act a certain way. And acting that way again and again and again is going to create those results, right? And that's going to be the life you live. So what are the potential habit loops here? I don't feel connected to anyone, so I don't go out very often, right? What happens? Then I'm isolated. Then I feel lonely, right? Then I get sick and no one's there to care for me. Like, it just builds. What's another thought? This weight makes my knees hurt. So when I walk, I don't walk, right? This hurts my knees when I walk, so I don't walk. And it hurts my knees. I don't walk, and I don't walk, and I don't walk. And then what happens? I lose the ability to be able to walk, maybe even stand. It grows. It grows. Okay. So do yourself a favor and pick one. Where can you every day be self-reflective? 1 minute, 5 minutes, 2 hours, doesn't matter. Consistency, watching the way you think, thinking about the way you think. Okay. Are you doing this already? Do you want to add something to your day? Do you want to add something to your night? All right. Are we ready? Okay. I'm setting the timer right now. I want you to close your eyes if that feels good for you. What do I need support with in my life right now? What do you see for yourself? What do you want? What would it feel like to be living from your authentic self, your true center, building a life that feels truly aligned? What do you want? Make the decision and thank you. That's it. You did it. We don't have to go, I wonder if I should no, no, let it go. Whatever you have decided is the decision for today. Maybe tomorrow you'll change your mind. But we're making, I said at the beginning, we want to break the habit of not making decisions, putting our life on hold. I'll do it later. I'll do it then. What if when, no, right now, I'm going to stay the same. Thank you. I'm going to take some movement in my life. Thank you. I'm going to bring community in my life. I'm going to learn to manage my time in my life. I'm going to drive up some passion in my life. Whatever it is, you made your decision and that's it. That's the science of habits, right? We can get caught up with the loops, which are happening so quickly that we don't even know that they're happening. And we just keep running that ship until we take pause. And what the inner circle does is we take pauses in the morning and we take pauses in the evening and we really set the day. I'd love for you to join the inner circle. If that's what you've decided, reach out to me, innergazeyoga@gmail.com, and I'll send you all the links, all the info that you can. It's totally affordable. It's not crazy. It's just 1 hour out of 168 hours a week where you sit in self-reflection. If I can help you, please reach out. But if there's something else that you've decided, please go do it. Your life is right now. Right now. And these habits, they just speed up and they just drain our life. They just drain us. So I want you to be mindful. Okay. As always, I hope this work is of deep benefit to you. I'm sending you so very much love as always. Thank you so much for watching. Pass this on to anyone you think it might benefit. And I hope to see you on a yoga mat or in a inner circle meeting or on a sidewalk or store somewhere soon. Deep bows. So much love and namaste.